Hey, Nick. How are you doing?
Hi, Mike.
Um, Yesterday's game, obviously, stunning win. But when you look back on it and then looking ahead, what's the best thing that came out of it in terms of, something you saw that you weren't seeing before?
Well, I mean, I think for whatever reasons you want to pile up, we weren't playing that well, either individually or collectively, and we started to in the second half. I think we had much better decision making. We looked like we were, going to start making some shots on offense. We started really executing well. Um, so I think it was just a better performance, which I would see as encouraging.
You mentioned last night that Kyle did a little freelancing in terms of the play calling. How much of it was him, and how much of it was a concerted effort to get Mark involved, tight to the basket?
Well, um, I mean, I think a lot of it was Kyle. He was trying to get himself involved. He was trying to get Mark involved as well. So I'm not so sure. We're just running them. We run a lot of mid pick and rolls, or even angle pick and rolls, or side pick and rolls with those two guys. It's part of what we do consistently. So I think they just were executing them a little bit better.
Is that as good as you've seen Mark in the playoffs this year?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good day, man.
You too.
Next, we'll go to Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, guys. Thanks, Nick. Just touching it, I mean, you mentioned Mark. How important was it to have some contributions of any type, not any type, but some contributions from Mark, from Norm Powell, to get a little bit more guys chipping in? And what do you think that sets you up for in Game 4?
Well, I think, Michael, it just gets us back to a little bit more who we are and who we're used to being. It's, I mean, Norm hitting a couple threes is like an everyday occurrence for us, right? Mark playmaking and scoring a bit, but playmaking a lot and exuding just confidence at both ends of the floor is kind of who Mark is too, and that's kind of what we're used to. So they're big. Again, that's kind of what I alluded to in my first answer was, for whatever reason, we weren't quite ourselves here for a while. Give them credit. They played great. They're playing hard. They're just, whatever. But, again, the second half and maybe just bits and parts of the game, Mark started the game looking much more confident and like he was going to be a factor, even though he wasn't really making his shots, but he was taking them with conviction, right?
Yeah, I mean, Fred said last night just that whole kind of stretch there for about a week where Brooklyn, like the Brooklyn series was good, but, Boston was clearly a big step up. The uncertainty around when the series was going to start or if it was going to start, and just how poorly it played in Game 1. That whole process had guys kind of down in the dumps there for a couple of days. Did you also sense that, and did you kind of try and address it before Game 3?
I think it felt funky, Michael. I don't like to make excuses because Boston has played great. They're really good, and they've played great on top of it, right? They're very well coached, and they got tons of talent. They got tons of shot making, and they brought it to us, and we didn't have any answers, right? And I'm not making any excuses for them kind of kicking our butt. I'm not. We needed to play better. We need to start playing. It looks like we might be ready to start playing better.
Appreciate it, Nick. Have a great day.
Thanks, Michael. You too.
Next will be Doug Smith. Go ahead, Doug.
Hey, Nick, how are you today?
Okay, Doug. How are you, man?
We see I'm good, thank you. We see OG as this sort of stoic, relatively emotionless guy. Does that help a young player through times like this? And is that how he is?
I guess, man, that has to be one of the most classic reactions of all times, man.
Oh yeah, no question.
I just saw it for the first time about 10 minutes ago, and I'm just like, it brings a smile to your face. I don't know. I remember one other similar thing. I can't remember exactly the scenario, but it was Larry Bird as a coach, and I was probably Reggie Miller who hit a step back three or something to win the game, and Larry Bird just didn't even move. He didn't blink. He didn't put his arm. And they camera went right to him, and I remember that as another classic reaction to a game-winning shot. But no, I think the cool thing, Doug, is like Kyle's been saying, is he's really happy for OG, right? It's a cool moment, and it's nice that our team players, our leaders, are happy, genuinely happy for OG that he had such a cool moment.
What is it about him that makes people react that way?
I don't know, Doug. I guess it's it's a little bit like similar to maybe Kawhi, right? Kawhi would do things and not show much emotion either way. I don't know. It's just his makeup, just his makeup of who he is.
Thanks, Nick. As always, appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good one, Doug.
You too.
Next, we'll go to Eric Green from The Athletic.
Hi, Nick. Good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
You had three guys, I believe, OG, Pascal, and Kyle, who played the entire second half, and obviously it was very necessary given the result of the game. Through, I guess, 7 games in the bubble, have you sensed how much not traveling sort of helps guys deal with, if not that minutes load, a similar heavier minutes load?
I'm just trying to get them in shape, Eric. We're still trying to get these guys in shape from the long layoff.
You're a mensch.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. A couple more 46-minute performances. We ought to be in shape.
In all seriousness, do you have any, how sustainable do you think that is? And do you need bigger production, at least in terms of minutes from the bench, if not those points that you were talking about from Norm?
I don't know, Eric. It's a tough one, man. And I hate to try to read too much in it, because I don't know. Let's go back for some recent history a little bit. Last year we lost game 1 against Orlando, and Kawhi played 37 minutes, and you guys were all over me for 4 days about how ridiculous of a coach I was for only playing him 37 minutes.
I think it was 33 for the record, but that's okay.
See, that's what I'm talking about, how ridiculous it is. And then a week later, we lose a game to Milwaukee, and I play him 44 minutes, and it was ridiculous that I played him that much. I mean, I'm just trying to do what I got to do, in the moment. I'm not so sure I went into that game thinking I wasn't going to make any subs. I knew it was. Then listen, the season was on the line.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you, and I'm coaching from that way. I have no idea how it's going to feel tomorrow. I really do believe there's some opportunities from some of these guys coming off the bench. I don't know who, but I do believe there is some, and we're probably going to find somebody. It's probably going to be a wild card that comes into this series at some point. That's all I can kind of tell you.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Eric. It's good to relive some old fond memories.
I'll send you the box score later.
Next, we'll go to Josh from TSN.
Oh, man, I don't know how I follow that. Hello, Nick. Good morning or good afternoon, whatever this is. OG, even as a rookie a couple of years ago, had some big moments in the playoffs. Even with this big gap in between postseason appearances because of what happened last year, how much do you think he was able to take from that experience against Cleveland, against LeBron as a rookie? And what do you think he learned from it?
I don't know. I think just experience in general, Josh, is always helpful in the playoffs, right? I think every time you got to go through them, you're becoming a better player, a more just experienced player, and you need some of that. I think that I don't know. I just think he's worked hard defensively. He's tried his best defensively, and he's made good decisions on offense. I think for the most part, he's handled the ball well. He's taken open shots. He's hasn't forced a lot. So he's just kind of trying to do what we want, which is play defense and hit the open man or take the open shot.
A lot of the time with young players, there is a learning curve in the playoffs in their first few years. We haven't seen that as much with OG having the kind of early success that he has in the playoffs. Does that come down to the personality, that stoic nature that you mentioned, or is it something else in his game or personality?
Well, again, I think it's he's a guy that has to use his abilities, and first and foremost, I think he appreciates the role of being a defender. Right? He's got an incredible set of athletic talents that make him. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, but he's got to have the desire to want to do that, and he does. So that's a credit to him. And then I think, again, at the offensive end, he just has to take what comes. There'll probably be a time in his career where we're throwing him the ball a little more often and letting him create and do some things. But right now, he just kind of has to take what's come and makes the plays that come to him.
Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Next, we'll go to Steven from Sportsnet.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. Obviously, the win last night was emotional. It's a big moment for you guys. But on the flip side, for Boston, I imagine they're pretty pissed off about what happened. So, I just wanted to know, what do you think the response from Boston will be after an emotional loss for them like that last night?
Well, I think they've been playing great, Steven. I would imagine they'll continue to play great. I'm imagining they'll try to play a little harder. Not that they're not, but sometimes when you're, like you said, when you're pissed, you get a little more aggressive in some things. That's all. That would be a natural response, I think, to that type of game.
And can you think of times when you guys were particularly pissed off and you kind of got more energy because of it?
Well, yeah, I think so, but I think that again, it's a long game, Steven, and you can't run across the ring in the first round and try to deliver a one-punch knockout. It just isn't the way it works. It's 48 minutes, and you can play on emotion some at the start. You can set a tone, which is you're always talking about doing. But it really comes down to being able to play and with composure, intensity, and composure over the 48.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
You're welcome, Steven. Have a good day.
Next, we'll go to Tim Reynolds from the Associated Press.
Hi, Nick. Good morning. When I know you take wins however you get them, of course. There are no bad wins. But when you're trying to get to where you want to get to, how much do the iconic ones, the ones that have a moment, whether it was the shot or last night, the pass and the shot, just how much in the grand scheme of things can they be worth maybe more than just that one win?
Well, I think last night's the season was on the line, Tim, right? So that's the biggest thing. We had to keep that get in the series, because we weren't in it really till we got a W any fashion. But I think, to your question, they seem to always be more historical, right? I think the shot, like last year you're talking about, the shot becomes this super historical moment because of what happened in, the end. We end up winning the championship, right? And you look back to that moment as, well, if we'd got knocked out in the next round, it wouldn't have been, the shot probably would have been less iconic, right? So I think got to let some time pass and some history pass here to see how iconic it becomes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
Next, we'll go to Rachel Brady from the Globe and Mail.
Good morning, Nick.
Rachel,
I wonder,
long time no speak.
for you as a coach today, I wonder how you follow up a game like that in film session today, and how much time you guys as a group might have spent on those actual last two plays. Like, did you spend a lot of time in that with the film, nitpicking through that or watching it in slow-mo, and how did the guys react?
First of all, I'm going to be just like you and be all business. Okay? about
Business?
how we're going to approach it. No small talk, Rachel. Just straight all business.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, we have an edit that we watch that puts down teaching clips from offense and defense and what we call special teams. And so to answer your question, both those last two plays did make the special teams edit, but only for some teaching on both of them, really. I watched it one time, and it was the last two clips of the entire film session, so we were up and out and on our way to the practice floor.
So if I can ask one more sort of studious question, sorry for the serious tone, Nick. How do you as a coach, like, how do you choose to follow up a game like that when there's obviously such an uplifting kind of vibe coming out of it? Do you choose to kind of go through the things that need fixing, or do you highlight the positives so that you can reinforce that idea of like positivity and confidence?
No, I think Rachel, like, you have a consistent kind of method, and not to be boring, you kind of got a system that you use, right? You're gonna find a smattering of positive clips, to reinforce we're doing some good things. You're finding some things that need improvement. You're finding some teaching clips. I mean, I would say that you try to just do it like you always do it, right? You got there's tons of things to learn from the game. There was, some of them were good that we can reinforce. Some of them we don't want to do, so we got to try to correct those. But just try to go. I mean, we gotta be done kind of enjoying that win, no matter how it happened, here pretty soon, because we gotta it's 2-1. We gotta get the next one, man. It's critical.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. Have a fantastic day, Rachel.
You too.
We've got time for two more. We'll go to Bruce Arthur.
I mean, if you want to do small talk, Nick, we can just, we can talk about whether you're finding new things to do in the bubble or anything like that. If you want to do that.
It's okay, Bruce. Let's keep it.
You've talked about Kyle so much. We've talked about Kyle so much. We've written about Kyle so much. One thing that always strikes me, and I was wondering if you could speak to this, is, Kyle wasn't born with exceptional height, exceptional length, exceptional quickness. And when he has a game like that, so much of it is effort. So much of it is he has to he's throwing his body into guys. I think John Schumann pointed out that was the most points in the paint he's ever scored in his career. When you look at Kyle, how much of his game is, it's hard, right? It's hard for him to have a game like that in a way that it isn't necessarily for a Luka Doncic or a James Harden or guys like that.
Well, we've all seen this guy play like this a lot. Okay, maybe it was more points in the paint he's ever had in the playoffs or whatever, but we've seen him give this tremendous effort. I think it's, you've heard me say many times, I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody play the game harder.
Mm-hmm.
Any place I've ever coached or watched a game or anything. So I don't know of any higher compliment I could give the guy than that. He does it all by sheer will and toughness.
Yeah. Was there at any point in the second half, he wasn't the only guy to play the whole second half, but he played the last 7 minutes with 5 fouls. Did you ever think about taking him out?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We were talking about a lot of stuff. A lot of guys in, a lot of guys out, possibilities, a lot. I don't think his name ever got brought into it, and it wasn't. I guess it wasn't. It wasn't even like that. Hey, should we take Kyle out? And me saying no, we're not taking him out. It was just didn't get considered really.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome, Bruce. Have a good day, man.
Yeah, I hope you find new things to do in the bubble.
I won't. But thank you. Thanks for thinking.
We'll wrap up today with Chris O'Leary from Raptors.com.
Hey, Nick. You've kind of touched on it a few times already, but I think it was the post game in Game 1, and you were asked about feeling joy around basketball. After the game last night, do you feel like there's some joy in your team right now?
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a good question, man. Going back there, and I think yeah, we've there's been some heavy times, not for everybody, right? There's been some heavy times from Corona, heavy times from racial inequality, stoppage of play. There's been some heavy times, everybody's got their own individual stuff too. So yeah, I think there is a little spark of some joy and fun and wanting to get back out there and see if we can play better. I mean, I think we needed to play better, and I think we started to play better, right? And I'm just glad that we kind of got a break. It didn't seem like we were getting a break this whole series, and we got a couple. And let's see if we can build on that, and maybe some of the joy and positivity from that will make us play a little bit more like ourselves.
And just lastly, kind of completely unrelated, I saw a picture before this all started of Kyle on the sideline last night, and the room that he had between the sideline and the scorer's table and all that stuff. It was comparing it to kind of what we have in normal times where that sideline's a lot tighter. How much more advantageous is it, or has it been, I guess, just to have that space around the court that I think we've all kind of just sort of taken for granted our whole lives?
Well, Chris, you could look at that both ways, right? Okay, that's advantageous. And then in Game 2, without having any fans up against the sideline, Pascal Siakam steps out of bounds when we were down 3 with the ball underneath because of weird spacing. So I think just it's a really good life thing. I believe in life there is balance. And there you go. It balances itself right out on two specific plays and 2 end-of-game plays.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Nick.